Overthinking is not your fault. Let me say that again, overthinking is not your fault. If you constantly replay conversations in your head, if you imagine worst-case scenarios before they even happen, if your mind never really switches off, that doesn't mean you are weak, broken, or dramatic. It means you learned how to survive. Somewhere in your life, your brain figured out that thinking more might keep you safe. And once the brain learns a survival trick, it doesn't easily let it go. Many people think overthinking is just negative thinking, but in reality, it's a deeply intelligent response to emotional experiences. Your mind is not attacking you, it's trying to protect you, even if it's doing a terrible job at it now. Let's start with something very real. Imagine a child growing up in an environment where emotions were unpredictable. Maybe love was conditional. Maybe appreciation came only when they performed well. Maybe mistakes were punished, criticized, or mocked. Or maybe no one really listened when they spoke. In such environments, the brain learns one thing very quickly: I need to stay alert. That child starts scanning situations, people's moods, and tiny changes in tone. Over time, this turns into a habit, an automatic response. That habit grows into overthinking. So when you overthink today, you're not being dramatic, you're responding from a place that once needed you to be hyper-aware. Now think about unsafe emotional environments, not just in childhood, but even in adulthood. Toxic friendships, emotionally unavailable partners, workplaces where one small mistake could cost you respect or security. In such spaces, your brain switches into control mode. It starts asking questions like, what if I said the wrong thing? Are they upset? Are they ignoring me? What if they're done with me? Overthinking develops because uncertainty feels dangerous. Your mind believes that if it analyzes everything in advance, it can prevent pain. The problem is, life doesn't work that way. You can't think your way into certainty. But your brain doesn't know that yet. Here's where neuroscience comes in, and this is important. The brain has a control system designed to detect threats. When you've lived through emotional unpredictability, this system becomes overactive. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, starts firing more often than necessary. Meanwhile, your logical brain gets tired trying to calm it down. So your thoughts loop. You replay conversations. You imagine 10 different outcomes. You plan responses for situations that may never happen. From the outside, it looks like anxiety. From the inside, it feels like you're just trying to be prepared. But preparation has turned into mental exhaustion. Let's use a real-life example. You send a simple message to someone, "Hey, can we talk later?" They don't reply for 2 hours. For someone who hasn't learned overthinking as a survival skill, this delay is neutral. But for you, the mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Are they ignoring me? What if they're done with me? You might even start drafting apology messages for mistakes you haven't made. This is not because you're insecure by nature. It's because at some point, silence meant danger. Silence meant withdrawal, rejection, or punishment. Your brain remembers that, even if you consciously don't. Another example, you're about to make a decision: career, marriage, relocation, even something as simple as posting on social media. You overanalyze every possible consequence. You ask 10 people for opinions. You delay action because you're waiting for the perfect moment or the right feeling. What's actually happening is that your brain is terrified of regret. Because maybe in the past, one wrong decision had serious emotional consequences. So now, your mind believes thinking more will reduce pain later. In reality, it often increases pain now. And it doesn't stop there. Overthinking often shows up in our relationships. Imagine you're on a date or meeting someone new. A simple joke they make, a short pause in conversation, or a raised eyebrow can trigger hours of analysis. You might wonder, did they like me? Was that a subtle insult? Do they find me boring? You create entire stories in your head based on tiny, neutral cues. Meanwhile, the other person is probably living in the moment, completely unaware of your mental replay. This is why overthinking can make you feel isolated, even in social situations. It's not that people don't care, it's that your brain is wired to anticipate danger, even when none exists. Here's the hard truth: overthinking once helped you. It kept you alert. It helped you avoid conflict. It helped you read between the lines. It made you emotionally intelligent. But what helped you then might be hurting you now. Survival skills are meant for danger, not for peace. When life becomes safer, but the brain doesn't update the software, overthinking becomes a cage instead of a shield. Now let's talk about tools, not to fix you, but to gently retrain your brain. The first tool is thought labeling. This is powerful and simple. When a thought appears, instead of believing it immediately, label it. Say to yourself, "This is an anxious thought," or "This is a fear-based story," or "This is my brain trying to protect me." Labeling creates distance. You stop becoming the thought and start observing it. For example, instead of thinking, "They hate me," you say, "I'm having a thought that they might hate me." That small shift gives your nervous system breathing space. The second tool is the 5-minute worry window. Overthinkers try to suppress thoughts all day, and then wonder why their mind explodes at night. The brain hates suppression. So instead, give your worries permission, but with boundaries. Set a timer for 5 minutes. During that time, worry freely. Write everything down. Let the thoughts come. When the timer ends, tell your brain, "I'll think about this tomorrow during my worry window." This trains your mind to stop hijacking your entire day. You're not ignoring it, you're containing it. The third tool is body grounding, because overthinking does not live only in the mind, it lives in the body. When your nervous system is activated, no amount of logic will calm you down. Grounding brings you back into the present. Simple actions work best: pressing your feet firmly into the floor, holding something cold, slow deep breathing, or naming 5 things you can see around you. These signals tell your brain, "I am safe right now." And safety is the opposite of overthinking. A fourth tool, which often gets overlooked, is storytelling, reframing the narrative. Instead of imagining worst-case scenarios, create alternative endings in your mind. For instance, that person who didn't text back. Instead of imagining rejection, imagine, "They're busy. They'll respond. This has nothing to do with me." Or, "Maybe they're having a tough day." Over time, your brain starts practicing optimism as a survival skill, not just anxiety. Fifth, journaling is a lifesaver. Writing your thoughts down forces your brain to organize the chaos. Instead of looping endlessly in your head, you give your thoughts structure. You notice patterns. You see recurring fears. And once you see patterns, you can gently challenge them. For example, if every time a friend cancels plans you think, "They don't like me," journaling can help you see, "This has happened 10 times, and it's never true that they disliked me." You are retraining your brain with evidence, not opinion. Let me be very clear about something: you don't need to eliminate overthinking to heal. You need to understand it. The moment you stop shaming yourself for it, half of its power disappears. Instead of saying, "Why am I like this?" try saying, "Of course I think like this, look at what I survived." Compassion calms the nervous system faster than criticism ever will. Healing doesn't mean you'll never overthink again. It means when you do, you won't panic about panicking. You'll recognize the pattern. You'll pause. You'll ground yourself. And slowly, your brain will learn a new lesson: not every silence is danger, not every mistake is catastrophic, and not every thought deserves your attention. And here's the beauty: once you master even small moments of calm, life starts to feel lighter. You enjoy conversations without overanalyzing them. You make decisions without paralysis. You sleep better, because your brain isn't on constant alert. You even notice that your relationships improve, because you stop projecting fears onto everyone else. Overthinking loses its grip not because you are cured, but because you are compassionate, aware, and intentional. So if you're watching this and you feel seen, if this explains something you couldn't put into words, know this: you are not broken. You are adaptive. You are intelligent. You just learned survival in a world that didn't always feel safe. And now, you're learning how to live, not just survive. And that takes time, patience, and kindness toward yourself. If this resonated with you, sit with it. Share it with someone who overthinks like you. And remember, your mind is not your enemy. It just needs reassurance that the danger has passed. And every time you respond with patience instead of panic, you prove to your brain that you are safe. That's real growth. That's real freedom. And most importantly, that's how you reclaim your life from overthinking, one thought at a time.